back. We back like we never left. I'm back like I never left. What's up, guys? I'm Carmen, and this is Thinking Like I Do, or Thinking the Way That I Do. I tend to interchange how I say it. It's just, you get the gist of it. It's just Carmen talking about the way that Carmen thinks. We're gonna go right into this video because I made a video and it was like 20 minutes long, and my phone ended up cutting it, so I had to redo it, honey. And we're not gonna let that happen on the second round, okay? Anyway, so I watched this Kid Cudi talk yesterday, and he's basically talking about his life, but he hits 2 points that I was just like, you know, mind blown. Not mind blown because I didn't already know it, but mind blown because I knew it at a very young age. So the first quote that he says is, when you go out into the real world, you realize that this is just a tiny chunk of your life. And when he's talking, he was talking about this being high school. And it just snapped into my head how mature and like wise I was for a middle schooler and for a high schooler. Like, I literally was a leech in middle school and high school. Like, a leech for intelligence, a leech for wisdom. Like, I was around anybody and anybody that was smarter than me, that I thought can teach me. I made great relationships with my professors and teachers so that if I do needed extra help, that I was in there. I did tutoring. Like, girl, if I needed help, I was going to go straight to tutor. If I needed a support system for studying, listen, we had study groups in high school. Like, I was in for it, all in it, around it. I was not trying to be the popular girl. I was not trying to be the cutest girl. I was not worried about what clothes I had. I wore the clothes that my mom could afford. Thank you, mommy. I was not trying to have like the best hair. I was not trying to get my makeup done right. I was not thinking about boys. I was thinking about like, what textbook is going to allow me to understand this concept better, or like, what book can I read so that I get the real world, so that I get subjects and ideas and themes that were outside my classroom. Because as we know, the education system has requirements, and it's very strict. And at some points, it does limit us if we are much smarter than what you're being taught. And when he said that, when Kid Cudi said that, I was just like, oh my God, all these years, I have been so ahead of my time. And I just want to tell any high schooler, middle schooler, or any person really that's watching this or comes across this video, that everything in our life is through stages and phases. And what we have to do is we have to gain as much knowledge, as much wisdom, as much experience from these stages to level up. Listen, this is a staircase. You use this, you live through it, and you go forward. You live through that, and we go forward. We're not stepping back. We're moving forward through the experiences and wisdom and intelligence that we learn from the people around us. Like, your inner circle has to be like what you want to be in life. Like, I always surrounded myself around the most intelligence. Like, I was always friends with the top-notch nerds because I was a top-notch nerd. And I was like, if I associate myself with people that aren't really trying to be the best human beings in the world, then my goal's going to be a little bit affected. You know, there's no way for you to stay that focused, especially in middle school and high school, when you're trying to when you're just that naive. So I was like, you know what, so that I don't lose focus, I'm going to grasp myself around those that won't allow me to lose focus. So when he said that, I'm going to repeat the quote, when you go out into the real world, you realize that this is a tiny chunk of your life. Everything changes. Like, everything that you once thought was so relevant becomes irrelevant. And when the things that don't matter were never relevant in your life, everything is much easier. I'm telling you from experience. Listen, y'all could call me whatever y'all want. I was ahead of my days, and that's why I think I've, blossomed into. I'm not even gonna say it. Anyway, the second quote. I'm funny. The second quote that he says is that Kid Cudi actually did go to school. He went to college for a year for film, I believe it was. He didn't like it. And as he becomes Kid Cudi, and not just Scott, as he becomes Kid Cudi, he's doing, he's producing and directing and doing more things with film. And he said that he wished he could have gone back, paid attention in high school, and finished pursuing film in college, because it would just be so much easier for him to bring his vision to life if he knew the basics of film. And if he would have been taught the basics of basically creativity. And when he said that, I was like, wow, like I'm patting myself in the back for graduating college. This is like just a little hint. I did a year of creative writing at the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, and then I graduated I transferred out of that and graduated as a communications major at Cudi University. And in both spaces, I was able to learn so much about not only just writing and like what type of writing there is, and great writers, and what forms of writing I could, fall into, and what I was best at. In my 1 year at UArts, I also learned how to do photography, how to do video production, how to direct a show, how to write for journalism. Like I learned so many things that at that point I thought, like after I graduated college, I was like, ugh, I graduated in May, but I was just like, oh, this is so useless. I'm not even going to use none of this when I, go into the real world and pursue what I want to be in life. It's not going to make sense. It's not going to matter. But boy, was I wrong. Like the fact that right now I'm not able to edit my videos, but as soon as I get the equipment, I can use Final Cut, and I already know how to edit videos, and I already know how to mess with all this stuff. It's going to be so much easier compared to somebody that doesn't have that prior knowledge. And I know how to understand what my audience is, and who I'm talking to, and what age range, and what sex, and what and where do they fall in place in America or in the world, if you're talking internationally. But these are things that other people don't have. So I have an advantage. So the fact that he said that just made me appreciate so much more the fact that I went to school. I try to recommend people that are trying to pursue being creative, like, oh, you don't have to go to school for that. But there's just certain things that you can't learn by yourself. There's just certain things that, or you can learn by yourself, but you can't perfect it. Or you're not going to know the easiest way to do it. Or you're not going to gain knowledge or pick up knowledge from like professors that have been doing this for decades and years. So when he said that, I was just like, wow, Kid Cudi, like you just made me appreciate the fact that I graduated from, you can say something that has to do with creativity, and that I'm using that to my full advantage, and I'm not letting it dismantle into like nothing, like thin air, like just, disappear. I'm using these skills that I learned throughout 4 years of my career for something, for my use. I mean, in class, you weren't using it for YouTube, or you weren't using it for like your interest, but you can use it now for your interest once you graduate, or even when you're in school, just for your own personal projects. So this is just a video that I wanted to do to like, there's a lot of creatives on my Instagram. I see you guys, whether it be musicians, artists, whether it be painters, whether it be poets, whether it be interior designers, whether it be graphic designers, whatever it is that I see on my timeline, I want you all to know that the education system, if you went to school, the education system is kind of built to like kill our creativity, and we can't let it. We have to still, like Picasso says, every child is an artist. It's just a matter of fact whether they remain that, artist as they grow. The education system does try to kill creativity because it doesn't encourage it. And it has been very hard for me personally to keep up with my creativity. I've tried. At some point, I wanted to go to law school. At some point, I wanted to be a plastic surgeon. At some point, I wanted to join criminology, or psychology. Like I wanted to do, even though I took classes for all of these things, and I'm still interested in it. Like, I read about it and I keep up with it. I actually wanted to squash, kill, and destroy my creativity and become one of the basic careers. And it took a lot of thinking, analyzing, and understanding myself and understanding my wonders to understand that that's not who I am. That I will remain and be and live unhappy if I wake up every morning and I'm not doing something creative. And whether I'm like doing my regular job as a hostess, like you will always see me writing, or you will always see me drawing, or you will see me doodling, or you will see me like doing something, or like having a rant on Instagram. Like, you're gonna always see me doing something that is part of the creative world that I live in. And as a creative, I have no limits. I'm the one that limits myself because I was taught to. And I just want to tell you guys, just focus. Do not limit yourself. You know, practice your craft. Become more educated in your craft, perfect your craft. It doesn't matter if it takes decades or if you're just doing it as a side hustle, if it's baking, if it's anything that makes you happy and allows you to be sane. Go for it, whether you're having a 9-to-5 or you have something else that is allowing you to pay these bills. But definitely, I encourage anyone to try to make a career out of being creative, because the world needs creatives. The world needs creatives, and it's in our history, like in the creatives' DNA, in the creatives' history. So many people that we look up to have gone through like struggles financially, struggles mentally, because no one believes in their craft. And you just have to say, like, I am the beep, like, I can't curse, but I am the ish, and no one is gonna be able to stop me, and no one is gonna be able to come up with this idea. And surrounding yourself by others creative. Unfortunately, I had a very good creative that moved to Australia. Shout out to Kaylin. She moved to Australia and she was with me throughout my last year of college, and we went through every creative idea together, and she's out there being the bomb. But like, I don't have creatives around me, and it's very hard for me to continuously encourage myself to remain creative, because I don't have that inner circle that's creative. But I want to be that inner circle for you guys, and for the youngsters to remember that everything's in stages. That I went all the way in a loop through this video. Everything is in stages, that the things that you consider like super important are most likely not that important. They won't be that important in 5 years. They won't be that important for your career. Try to be ahead of the game and focus on what's in front of you. And what's in front of you is your homework. What's in front of you is your classes. What's in front of you is your professor. And do it. Surround yourself with the smarties. Listen, do it. Do it. Whoever's going to be your friend is going to be your friend, regardless if you're a nerd or not. Like, I'm just telling you, you're just going to be so much ahead. Like, I feel like I am so much ahead of some people. Like, and sometimes it's like, sometimes I can't have conversations with half the people that I've met in the world. But man, the stuff that I know, the stuff that I've been able to teach myself, the stuff that I'm interested in, just is all projected into my craft. And that's what's going to make my craft so unique, and that's what makes my conversation so particular, and that's what just makes me such a like particular individual. And it's all of that. It's all the intelligence that I've gained, or allowed myself to gain. So yeah, this video is all over the place, but y'all get the gist of what I'm trying to say. Hopefully, I feel like this video is gonna at some point end, and if it does, thank you for watching. Get ready for the next one. But no, seriously, like, Kid Cudi just said some very good, hit some very good points in his TED Talk, just about life. I've seen a lot of people start off creatively and then die down because they didn't get enough views. And listen, I'm happy with 5 views. I'm happy with 1 view, because I've had people that just heard me like talking, and they're like, you should do a podcast, or you should have a YouTube channel, and I'm just like, oh my God, how did you know that I was interested in doing that? And they just don't. They just think that like my conversations are meant to be heard. My voice is meant to be heard. my opinions are meant to be heard. And through those people, shout out to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are if you have ever encouraged me to do this. But you guys are the little seed that has been planted for a better and bigger garden that's coming. So stay creative. Do not let education kill your creativity. Take education, learn from it, learn about the world, and use it for your craft. Live the stages that you have to live in life, and then learn what you have to learn from them, and then store them away. Do not try to go back. Do not think that they're bigger than they are. Like I said, half this stuff is not relevant, and it doesn't matter, and it won't matter later on in life. And try not to regret things. So if you want to go to school, do it. It's expensive. Everything is expensive. We're all going to be in debt. Trust. I know Gary Vee is going to think otherwise, but if you want to do it, do it. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching Thinking Like I Do. This is Carmen again, and hopefully I'll be back for another video if the universe allows me to be. Thank you.